Hey, I was watching this stream and these atheists were talking. I'm gonna watch it.
That
Yeah. Yes.
it's like if you define God as the greatest thing that exists, then God necessarily must exist because things that exist are greater than things that don't exist. And so for God's definition of the greatest thing to be true would mean he would have to exist, and therefore God exists.
That's not the reasoning because things that exist are greater than things that don't exist. That has nothing to do with the ontological argument, does it? No, it doesn't. What was it again? It was you're basically arguing it has to exist because refresh it. My memory is really bad. It's a priori. Oh, it's conceived through deductive reasoning that if we define God as a being than which no greater can be conceived, and argues that such a being must exist in the mind, even in that of the person who denies the existence of God. There has to be at some point a being that is the greatest being that one could conceive. From this, he suggests that if the greatest possible being exists in the mind, it must also exist in reality, because if it existed only in the mind, then an even greater being must be possible. One who exists both in the mind and in reality. How did Lewis put it? Because a being that exists in reality is greater than a being that exists in the mind. Oh, I guess he put it in a way that didn't make sense to me, but yeah. Well, yeah, because something that exists in reality is greater than something that exists in the mind. Oh, right, because it couldn't only exist in the mind, since I see. Because existing in reality and the mind would be better than only existing in the mind. And since it's the greatest being, it has to be better, so it has to exist in reality. Alright, that was a weird way to trip me up there, but yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Well, 50% of the people will die with 2 grams. Pure THC.
False. That's false.
Yeah, it's got to be false. The way
feeling that no matter what happens,
you didn't travel around so much that you're going to go to hell.
Do it the first time.
No, that's called.
Then cut the price.
Everybody, you had.
I think it'd be cool to do though.
You have measurements, and you have a refracted measurement. It's straight. You have a plumb line.
Well, you could have just a little 2-mile long thing running next to that type of a laser Xan.
Like this might be possible. We can get some media, something there. 100K.
Like refraction
itself.
To actually have some kind of input to generate an output.
Okay.
Here's a Pew Research poll.
use 2,000-year-old books.
A fallacious together.
But the atheist has nothing to offer since they're taking the negative position that it doesn't exist. I would like it to, just like you, yeah. Oh, yes. That's why you got to get prayed up.
you were against Catholicism.
Oh no, the Babylonian Catholic whore ain't got nothing for me. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, not the Pope.
Who are the saints?
The Scarlet Whore goes around with the world too much in syncretism, trying to marry the world's demonic doctrines to God. Unsuccessful.
Are you talking about Mary?
People run around call people whores. That's real nice, Lemon.
The
And
church.
who are the saints? Where did you
church
define the saints?
institution is a whore for going around with the world and making the word of God no effect. That's a whore.
Lemon.
What would you call it?
Who are the saints?
Especially since that was.
The guy criticizing Lemon for calling people whores is e-beggar, which is one step below a whore on the social hierarchy.
Was the bride of Christ and married to Christ, and then it went after the world's whoredoms. What do you call that?
Who are the saints?
All that nonsense.
Who are the saints, Lemon? And how did you
The
find
ones
out who they?
follow the word of God.
Can you name a few saints?
There's not one righteous, no, not one. But the ones that follow Jesus Christ have new life in Him.
Do any of them have names?
Follow Jesus,
So
that's what that means.
Okay, so everybody's a saint who's a good standing Christian.
The ones that follow Jesus would be closer
Who's
to
a good
that.
standing Christian? Yes. In your estimation, good standing.
There are fake Christians too, satanic
Right,
counterfeits,
that's all defined by you.
infiltrators, stuff like
Right,
that.
that's all defined
You
by
gotta
you.
see in their heart if they're following Jesus or something else.
I don't
But
know. I
Lemon,
still
isn't
think
it weird for grown ass rational people to follow one magical person and really say that it was a magical person? Isn't it a little weird?
It's not weird. It's fairly normal. People like to believe in fantasy lies. In fact, if you tell them the truth, they won't believe you. Like these people in Gem Pandas. They will never ever believe the truth. Ever. But you tell them all these crazy lies and then just say it's scientific or there's a peer-reviewed paper and they'll believe you. It's as simple as that. So you can get them to believe pretty much anything's true as long as you just say it's scientific. In fact, someone from the Middle Ages who these people would consider ignorant wouldn't believe half the shit these people believe. They'd be more grounded in reality, actually. Bernard Shaw has an interesting quote about the subject. It's about how man is credulous.
A man who was God as opposed to, like a magician or a sorcerer, sure.
How do you know that Jesus wasn't just a really convincing magician?
He did the will of his Father, not his own will.
How do you know that? How do you know that? I mean,
witchcraft
there's
is seated in the
people
will.
today who think regular magicians are somehow channeling demons. People aren't really good at telling what is magic and what isn't. We're quite bad at it.
The higher level ones do. The lower level ones do parlor tricks.
No, they don't. I know how
The
there's
higher level ones get assisted by demons and the like.
I'm telling you right now, Lemon, that is nonsense. As somebody who understands how they do what they do, as somebody who was a magician and performed for years and has talked to what you call high-level magicians, I've talked to David Blaine and Chris Angel and fucking whole bunches of them, for fuck's sakes, over the years, that probably most of them you wouldn't know their name. But
when you look at his demonized eyes, are you telling me that there isn't some demon from hell assisting him? I don't think so.
Who's demonized eyes?
David Blaine in particular, but there are others as well.
David Blaine is kind of a douchebag, but he's not demonic. Tell you that.
You didn't look into his eyes from a ritual altar or sacrifice in his apartment or wherever the hell he was living or anything like that? No chicken blood?
No, he hired his
Okay, now you're just joking, right?
He hired somebody to teach him magic so he could start a TV special. I mean, David Blaine is also not even that great of a magician. That's why he's known more for silly stunts like fucking holding his breath for a long time than he is for actually doing anything that's magic.
Fair enough.
I've done lots of research into the paranormal. I think there's some credible stuff with like police officers witnessing things because I think police officers have an incentive to deny seeing things. It's embarrassing for their position in the public at work, whereas like most people have an incentive to fake paranormal videos or evidence. But then I think most likely is that what I heard from the guy who started the Hassasins was, who the hell was that? Was it Hassan? No, Hassan was like a ninja. Who's this started by? The origins. I can't remember the guy. Can't remember the guy's name. Hassan. Oh, it is Hassan. Okay, yeah. Hassan. Alright, Hassan, he put out rumors that he was contacting jinn or demons, right? And had magical powers, and this was psychological warfare to put fear in his enemy. Maybe the enemy wouldn't even want to attack him because he believes in magic powers. So I think that perhaps people in power like to put out fake propaganda or put out propaganda that they have contact with demons or magical mystical powers, spiritual powers, when really they're just like regular humans. So if I were to resist them now, if I believe that they're in contact with aliens, or if I believe they're in contact with the demons, it's hard for me to fight back because I can't ever see the aliens or the demons. But it's just people, really, right? It's like Wizard of Oz. And also, their propaganda aims at our credulity, so Lemon is so willing to believe that demons are real and all this stuff. I don't think early my book says that early Christians didn't believe in witchcraft and magic and the occult. I don't know what they would think. I don't know how they think about demonic spirits, though. They might have believed in those. They probably would think they did, because Jesus cast out demonic spirits. But demons are not an important part of Christianity or anything. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting subject. It's probably not real, but we live in a world where it's hard to know what's real and what isn't real, because we're surrounded by propaganda. The Bible talks about that the world is about deception and stuff. So
most of the stuff you can tell is audience.
A lot of it's audience fucking stooges, which is why a lot of magicians actually don't have a heap of respect for him, or in certain cases, camera trickery, right? Like, which a lot of the old school magicians will look at that and be like, yeah, that's cheating. That's not being a magician. That's fucking having a camera crew edit you to look magical, and that's fucking not cool. You know, I have very little respect for fucking magicians that use camera trickery. It's
What about
beyond driven.
magicians that use 2,000-year-old books? Is it just as frustrating as someone using CGI?
Talk about the
Magicians that use
Necronomicon and
2,000-year-old
something from
books.
Yeah, Jesus wasn't a magician. The Bible, you know what's funny? These so-called skeptics, they were like Christians back in the day. The Christians were like I said, they didn't believe in the witchcraft stuff. Like, look, Acts magic books. So this is from Acts. This is when the Apostle Paul went to, I forget the name of the city. He went to a bunch of cities. I can't remember this particular city's name. And a bunch of people in this city believed in magic. And he told them magic wasn't real and to believe in Christ, because Christ is the truth. Many who had believed now came forward, confessing and disclosing their deeds. And a number of those who had practiced magic arts brought their books and burned them in front of everyone. When the value of books was calculated, blah, blah, blah. So the word of the Lord powerfully continued to spread and prevail. So these Christians were doing what these James or Andy or skeptics would do, is debunking fake BS. Because us Christians, we're about the truths. Because our God, their Christian God, is love, and love is synonymous with truth.
Is Jesus. Those books are the only thing that tell him that he's magic.
Oh,
Yeah.
stuff in the Bible. The Bible's history and prophecy. It's not magic from the rebellious witchcraft will. You have a bit of a category error there. There are no spells and incantations in the Bible as far as I can tell.
Oh,
What about the
really?
time that in order to
Solomon.
get clean, you have to wash your hands with running water, and then 8 days later go and get a pigeon or squirrel type animal, and then chop it and burn it to cleanse your soul? Do you not
Or
remember that part of the
securing
Bible?
on your door to stop the fucking angels from killing your firstborn. That is just as much a spell or incantation as anything.
What about
Don't-
using some sort of ritual process to turn crackers and liquids into the flesh and blood of a god, so the people of this cult following eat this flesh to become more powerful?
What about the passage I just talked about? See, it's like they want to cherry pick and take things out of context. If you take the Bible as a whole, you know, look, a number of practiced sorcery brought their scrolls together and burned them publicly, you know. What are you talking about? So they're saying the Bible promotes that sort of thing? Why did the Apostle Paul get people to burn their magic scrolls and magic books and quit magic and follow Christ? Because the Bible supports magic? Okay. Well, hey, you're trying to win an argument. Don't let the truth get in the way or anything.
In China.
I wonder if you guys could guess who it was.
You haven't
Oh,
gone
yeah,
to
that was
jail
in
for
China.
growing dope, have you?
No, what?
Said you haven't
Yeah,
gone
you
to
didn't go to
jail
jail
for
for
growing
growing,
dope, have
growing
you?
dope, did you?
Have I?
BB
No. No, I haven't. I've grown pot before. Every year I grow mushrooms.
BB was in here every day, and then he said, we found out, says tomorrow he had.
Maybe if you smoke his pot and eat his mushrooms, then the Bible, like, you can interpret it in the same totally fucked up druggy way that he interprets it.
to go to this court case about getting caught growing pot in the backyard, and he said, I got it covered, it's fine. 6 months later, he still had never come back.
Yeah, he definitely went to jail. Probably for a long
He
time.
says he did,
Especially
when he came back, he said he was just busy.
if his state has it legal getting caught for growing and selling pot becomes way more criminal than in illegal states. Isn't that strange?
That makes sense, actually, a little bit.
It should be criminal to be as pathetic as the people in this Discord server.
Right, people care about actually punishing you now.
Yeah, and that's so. If you get caught selling in states that have it legal, you're in worse shit.
It's not like you're it's not like you could grow weed that could kill somebody.
Okay, let me thank you for that.
Cool story.
Weird law.
Thanks for your opinion. Very appreciated.
Well, there's never been a THC related death, like overdose. So.
Like, I bet a massive amount of pot has crushed someone though.
I've heard you can actually OD on it now that they got all these edibles. Like I heard that.
Fuck
that's
off,
not
Jeremy.
True. That's not true. I will say that eating a shit ton of edibles will put you in a state where you're probably better off being watched. Stop us.
I was playing the wrong fucking part. Look at this guy. This is 6 hours ago. This guy was talking about stupid magic Jesus. I accidentally was playing the current live stream. He's talking about eating mushrooms and yeah, okay. I mean, what's worse, like his subject matter or his the fact that he's been on the same thing for 6 hours?
It would need to be reproducible. As far as I can tell, you putting blood on your door doesn't have an angel pass by automatically. Those were prohibitions that the Israelites in the Hebrews anyway, in Egypt had to follow to keep their children from being taken in the night. That's not a magical incantation to protect you from any angel. So
No,
that's
see,
a bit
now
of a
you're just
category
lying.
error as
No,
well.
now you're just lying. You're lying.
It's definitionally it's definitionally
You're
a ritual.
lying.
But
here's the fucking thing. At the
definitionally a ritual, but is it a magic ritual? You see, Zant? You see this little semantic? I mean, washing your hands is a fucking ritual. I mean, what? Definitionally a ritual. So, but is it a magic ritual? Is washing your hands a magic ritual? This definition says a religious considered according to a prescribed order. I thought ritual could refer to arising from convention or habit. So it could be a habit. I do this ritually. I guess it is got like a religious or ceremony connotation to it. What about magic? We're talking about magic rituals. So. Ceremonial magic. I don't think it's the same as ceremonial magic, like this. Maybe Kabbalism, because they were Jewish. Maybe it is Kabbalistic. They don't really, I mean, whatever. They just want to discredit it by calling it ceremonial magic.
At the end of the day, I'm one of those few atheists that fucking actually take a burden of proof on and think that if you're going to make a claim that you believe gods to not exist, there is some level of responsibility for you to have some evidentiary background. Otherwise, you're just talking shit. And I think that there is an ample argument that can be made using anthropology, psychology, and sociology that quite aptly explains the creation, invention, and implementation of all religions around the earth. Like it's not that hard to string together.
But the atheist has nothing to offer since they're taking the negative position.
Well, that would only discredit the religions that humans created. It wouldn't discredit the actual God that exists. Oof.
That it doesn't exist. I would like it
Okay,
to, just like you,
here's the
yes, but they
problem.
have
Here's the
nothing to
problem,
offer.
Lemon. If the atheists are right, then religion has nothing to offer either, except for false promises.
The religious theist Christian has the scriptures, history backing up the narrative,
Great. That's
killer
fine.
account.
I have a other book.
Christianity has everything to offer, and I don't promise people some magic, you go to heaven or whatever because you do some shit or believe some shit or have faith or whatever. No, Christianity, it will improve your life. It'll give you eternal life because it will give you the attitude of living. Right now, if you're not a Christian or many Christian, well, even if you are a Christian, you have the attitude of death and destruction. You're on, like Jesus said, wide is the road of destruction. Many will take it. Narrow is the path of life, and few will follow that path. So, 90%, I don't know, a vast majority of people are indoctrinated, corrupted by the world to follow this path of destruction. So, Christianity, at least the way I see it, it gives you an attitude for living and appreciating life, loving your life, loving others. It's the only life, because if you hate, then that's death and destruction, and your life sucks. And it's really simple as that. So it makes your life better currently in the now, in reality, and it's tangible. It transforms you physically. If you're fat, you can get into shape. Oh, I gotta mod this guy. Roman Christianity is the deadliest cult in history. I don't know about that. It is pretty crap.
I have other things. Whether it be science or whether it be just entertaining things that I can use and enjoy in the limited life that we seem to have on this clearly spinning ball that we live on.
On this flat
Shout
plane
out.
covered by a
That's
dome.
not fair.
And the atheist non-believer, of course, promotes the miracles of science and technology. Look at this flashy plastic device that entertains me in my hand, and I have all this modern convenience because of science, miracles, and medical miracles. It's the same. It's just like the tricks of the magicians, and it's just this. It's the same old song and dance. They don't get it that they're falling for. They're basically akin to the people in Acts who were practicing magic, and going, oh look, this magic sorcerer cured someone, and they believe in it. It's like, oh, this magic doctor cured my cancer, so therefore science good. And they don't see any negatives of science and all that. They can't see that it's a lie. It's a fantasy. Progress is a myth. Jacques Ellul said that. So they're no better than the people that they hate. They basically are them. And I think it's funny.
I don't know, man.
This life is just a preview. It's eternity
That guy
that
said
matters.
Jesus wasn't even real, dude. Not even a real person at all.
At least he was
Here's the thing. There are certain people who claim that Jesus was entirely fake, I don't know if that's validated. People like Richard Carrier are mythicists. Although I think that by some metric, if you look at it like, we know Abraham Lincoln was real, right? So far as we can tell, there's pretty good evidence that Abraham Lincoln was real. There's also books that say he was a vampire hunter. We know that's fiction, right? Like, obviously, Abraham Lincoln wasn't a vampire hunter. And
That's
so
not
I think
true.
that if you were to look,
Obviously?
yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Have you seen the movie? It's pretty. I don't know. All right,
I
I'm
saw the documentary.
But the thing is whatever it is that Jesus is reported to be today, I think is, if he was a real person, the equivalent of Abraham Lincoln vampire hunter, which would clearly be a myth. So I think the Jesus people believe in definitely didn't exist. Whether or not there was a man that the stories are based on, or multiple individuals that were rolled into one, as there were many people trying to claim to be prophets at the time. Who knows? It's a crapshoot. We have a hard time figuring out what happened last
There are
Tuesday.
people saying they see Abraham Lincoln or Caesar today. They mostly claim to see Jesus. Like this dude is still alive. They don't claim to see Cleopatra or Thomas Jefferson.
I wonder if he denies the existence of the historical Jesus. Like, why does he want to call him what does he call him, a vampire or something? What a weirdo. E-bagger, by the way.
Or whatever, they claim to see Jesus.
Actually, plenty of people do claim to see these people in visions, etc. Some of them claim to be these people, right? There's people who think that they're reincarnations of Joan of Arc or whatever. People believe in nonsense all the time.
But reincarnation is not biblical.
People believe in
He's figured out people believe in nonsense, but he can't apply it to himself yet. So baby steps. Like, maybe someday he'll figure it out.
nonsense all the time. What makes you think your nonsense is any more special than anybody else's nonsense?
Also, only one.
Oh my god, he does figure it out. What do you think? Your nonsense is more special than anyone else's nonsense. So he thinks his nonsense is more special than Lemon's because it's objective, peer-reviewed. It's in a scientific journal. The establishment Ministry of Truth backs him up. Oh my lord.
Those people that you listed, Lemon, has a story that goes with them that they will return.
See, the mistake we make as humans is we're so desperate to justify ourselves, but we're never justified. Jesus Christ dying on the cross forgave us of our sins, and it's nothing we did. We don't do anything to earn it or deserve it. We don't. In fact, we don't deserve. We are never justified. We suck. But we're tempted to justify ourselves, and when we do that and think we're justified, then we start acting like God himself. And we think we can tell other people what to do. We think we can go to war with another country. That's when a lot of the evil happens, is when you think you're God and you're justified. That's the original sin. As Christians, we're supposed to be humble and have humility and realize that we're all sinners. We're all, filthy rags before God, but he still loves us unconditionally anyways. And that way, when people in our lives are shitty to us, we can still love them, because we know that if we were to hate them, we would be really judgmental of ourselves, because we are shitty too.
And only one of them already is imbued with magical properties. It makes a ton of sense that people would
But
see
that's a
Jesus
category.
and not others.
Because you're calling magic what is divine power. Magic is against the will of God. So
I'm not saying otherwise. I'm just saying that nobody imagines that Thomas Jefferson can resurrect himself.
Yeah, but there's been people who have claimed to have seen the Prophet Muhammad.
There's no one that would imagine Thomas Jefferson would resurrect himself. But what is there? There's George Washington never told a lie. He chopped down the cherry tree and admitted it. Like, there's Johnny Appleseed, Paul Bunyan. You know, there's lots of mythology around America and the founding fathers. That's not true. And Native Americans attributed supernatural, I guess, feats to their historical heroes and chiefs and great people. It's something I think people did to make stories entertaining, because we used to tell each other stories before we were destroyed by science and technology and television and radio and all that, and now internet.
There's been people in Mormonism that have claimed that Joseph Smith talked to them, right? Like, it's not like Jesus is the only person this claim is made about, although he is a certainly more well-known claim, so it's likely that if somebody is prone to making such ridiculous things or be easily influenced by their belief structures, that you're going to see more claims in that regard around that character. Which
Well, you
seems
gotta watch for the
100%
demonic
explainable
deceivers.
and expected given what we know about human nature. There's
You
also
gotta watch
tons of,
out for the.
there's quite a lot of experimentation being done right now where they can stimulate certain parts of the brain with I think it's magnets or a small electrical stimulant that creates religious experiences in people, even that are non-believers, because we can measure the fact that certain parts of the brain seem to be responsible for specific types of thinking, and religious thinking is one of the areas that can be stimulated to one effect or another.
I'm the electricity in my brain, and I can prove it. Glavin.
So I just there doesn't seem to be any strong evidence to indicate that we should think anything other than religion is a byproduct of human nature to some extent or another.
That's a appeal to ignorance right there. But I mean, he just said appeal to ignorance was bullshit, and now he's making one. That's great. That's great. Congratulations, Ant. You've contradicted yourself in the span of fucking 10 minutes.
But religion covers foundational thinking of any sort, including that of scientism. Science itself can become a religion of sorts if you take its foundational principles and try to.
I think that there's a difference. Hold on, Lemon. There's a difference.
So the religious impulse appears to be manifold.
Lemon. There's a difference between religious thinking and dogmatic thinking, and certainly there can be science minded people who become dogmatic in their beliefs. That's not the same as being religious.
But you can't get rid of religion without getting rid of foundational thinking, be it scientism,
that is wrong.
any sort of foundational principle you wish to take with you into other areas of your life to guide other areas of your life.
No,
that
that's
principle will always be there.
Wait, sorry, just 1 second. The fundamental of thinking, it have been introduced with 1,000 years, closer to 1,000 years before Christ. So it's called philosophy.
The foundation of what, Christ? What was that?
Thinking.
It's called English. Learn to speak it or get the fuck out the English-speaking server, you pathetic shit.
Foundation of thinking. It's called philosophy. It's not religion.
Yeah,
sorry for introduction.
Philosophy in general has more validity in providing some insight into where there are logical flaws in thinking, particularly since humanity is prone to logical flaws. The fact is the reason we had philosophers as early as we did in recorded history is because people even then were well aware that humans were prone to making grave errors in their thought process and tried to come up with tools and rules in the way that we approach information to help mitigate some of those errors.
And one intervention again, please.
Who says they're errors?
So
how do you know they're an error?
So
if you have a fallacious type scenario, or
So who says it's an error?
If you're when you look at logical things that are logically inconsistent,
Man,
it could be.
the answer is we do.
Yeah.
So you
Now
say
you could arrive like, you know, throwing a dart blindfolded. You could hit the dartboard, right? Like you could use a ill-formed thought process to arrive at a true conclusion on occasion. But the point is
Sure,
why isn't a plumb bob? Why isn't a plumb bob affected by it then?
What
Give
you're
me an
getting
example.
by is
That is the problem.
From the
Do you want me
rotation,
to show you
say
a
no.
plumb bob
Nothing.
that hangs?
new story.
yeah, like you don't get a whole lot of original material of these guys. They all just sort of cover the good
No.
shit. I mean, Pete Shea also had some quite wacky original ideas too. Like he had his whole dodo thing and whatnot. I still can't even. That Scottish guy who he gets worked up. You can't understand a goddamn thing he says.
Oh, Dell.
Andrew Yang.
He would tie people's tubes while
the schedule is, so I'll be able to break it down to hours after tomorrow.
For the last 24 hours.
Now my accelerometer is giving a different.
Quite sure. Okay,
Whoever
I had
was
Joe
doing
return
that-
to zero like everybody else.
Trying to find the part where Lewis brings up the ontological argument.
Else should as well.
This guy always.
Afro.
What's the difference?
I didn't make the app. I'm going to trust whoever made it.
Don't talk about stocks.
Yeah, don't bother.
May your God go with you.
Where is the fucking?
Don't listen to the hedonist there. You could pray for us.
Where's the part? I had it when I started the stream. Am I way ahead?
Yep.
I thought they were gonna talk about.
I'm wondering.
Flying out.
If you
the
so
container?
the bars, there's a strap that goes around you too.
Bad, like you want morphine bags for onto the ship.
You can look this up.
Man.
Zenit, what's
You
up?
won't
man?
get quick answers.
We know that, and you get the statistics. You get the if you made that if you parallel.
Correct.
Yeah.
If the surveyor backs up
Hold on.
2,000.
Yeah, he'll help out there for sure.
You could just build like a.
Yeah, great.
Or whatever, or type form. To so many different things,
But that doesn't necessarily mean there are. I mean, because of social pressure.
It does hold up.
I don't think that it does, and I think it's also really hard to quantify happiness in general. So, you know,
energy or something, and you created a simulation, and you were having it.
Suit an illogical premise.
I can't find it. What the fuck?
All it's gonna do is gonna give you a headache.
It's pure reason.
Oh, the ontological. Okay, here it is.
There's somebody who wrote a critique about pure reason.
I know. I have that book.
I know I'm aware of some of the premises in there, but I'm also aware that Kant is very difficult to read, so I haven't really gotten into it.
That's fine. It's a pretty big book too.
I think the basic concept, or at least my takeaway, is that can't really gain knowledge by using pure reason. There has to be some information that is gotten from an outside source. So trying to use pure reason to justify the existence of a god will always fail.
What about when they used pure reason to come up with, like, they based on math or whatever, theoretical mathematical models, they thought black holes existed in the universe, and there was a debate, like, people thought that was crazy, that those things would never exist in reality, and then now we've seen them. So sometimes we can deduce something and with reason and logic, and then does exist in reality, and we've confirmed it later to exist in reality when we deduced it before we actually were able to confirm it. So I don't see why can't that be the same with God.
A break reason. Should you got to try to hey, because what if you're designed limited? You know what I'm saying? But what if you have the capability to break the limits?
Oh, that's a
What if
contradiction in itself, right?
what if the invisible unicorn that tells me what to do every day suddenly enables me to fly?
See, they like to compare God to an invisible unicorn, but that's a categorical error, because God is defined as that which is ultimate, non-contingent, and what else does Darth Dawkins say? It's ultimate, non-contingent, and independent of the universe. That's what non-contingent means. What the fuck? I don't know. Anyways, God is not defined the same way we would define as a magic unicorn or whatever. Like, it's a different category. God is defined through the evidence we have for God, which is logical arguments. We define God as, that which is sort of necessary, the precondition for reality to function as it does. So it's not like a unicorn is a requirement for the universe to exist, The unicorn exists within the universe in the imagination of inhabitants in the universe. That can only exist if there is a God, because if there is no God, then it wouldn't make sense. Nothing would make sense. Like why would there be order? It would all be random chaos. Like, what? There needs to be something to put order to things. If there's nothing, no authority to order the universe, it would just be random chaos, jibber jabber. There would be no correct answers. So it's not. You can't compare it to a unicorn. It's totally different things.
If he just decides that I can fly now.
I just mean, like, occasionally.
If you design limited, you're limited. It's the end of it, Don. There's no, if you design limited, you're limited. You can't break it.
Designed to be
Otherwise, you weren't
applied to
designed
limited
limited.
purpose. Yeah. But I'm saying there's layers to it, man. You're still gonna have your limits, but you might be able to. This is a dynamic endeavor we're talking about here. You might be able to gain knowledge, right? Like, the car is supposed to drive on the road and is designed that way, but occasionally it's gonna hit a ramp and fucking fly. You know what I'm saying? And discover a whole new world.
It's not really flying. It's more like falling with style.
Gonna do something different that a million billion other cars would have never thought was even possible.
The dude.
Not true.
You just did a Toy Story joke, man.
I'd argue that any car of an equivalent make and model that hit that same ramp at that same speed would more than likely, almost certainly, 100% react the same way.
I agree, but they wouldn't know about it until they did it. They have to do it the first time.
No, that's called verificationism. You don't have.
Well, this isn't the best analogy. I'll agree, but I'm saying if you're designed
you
for
understand
a purpose,
that we don't. You
might have to try other things.
Okay, but here's the thing. So that's the reason. One of those flat Earth arguments. You never know until you do this. You haven't dug down past 8 miles. It's something called verificationism. Is an positive? God, what's it called?
Fuck their weak ass. No. Let's go deeper. Like, do you think we should look for our purpose in life, or kind of just
the verifiability criterion of meaning, or the verification principle?
No, Don, I don't think so. No, I think it's a waste of our time.
So should we just follow primal instincts to get food and shelter?
We shouldn't think about our purpose in life. It's a waste of time. Holy shit, dude. The guy is bald, by the way, and
That's not my.
that's a picture of that guy. That's the guy who thinks, oh, thinking about my purpose in life is a waste of time. I'm gonna go on Discord and talk to flat earthers. That's a valuable use of my time.
Only alternatives, right?
No, let's talk about it, man. Like, what
Like
is
we
the
can
alternative?
we
Like,
can
what are
go
we
to
doing
school
without?
and learn things, right? By having people tell us things. So for
So
example,
what,
if I
just be
want to be a nuclear
comfortable and be
physicist,
safe?
if I want to be a nuclear physicist and learn about the consequences of
What are you talking? I didn't get a link because you weren't a mod. So you have to post that again because I made you mod. Maybe I should just allow. I should change my chat so you could post links. I should probably do that. But everyone's a mod, so I guess I don't have to. Probably not listening to me. Oh, you are. Hey, what's up? Okay, let's check this out. What is this? Oops, something went wrong. It's because that's a mobile link, I think. You should. You should just tell me the name of the video or something, cause your link. I think your link is for mobile. Something gonna work. Yeah, your link. Those links don't work.
I think you might need it.
Yeah, I was just making fun of these atheist morons. Face like the sun, videos, age of deceit. Okay. Oh, whoops. I found it. Oh, wait, no. There's a lot of age of deceit videos. This isn't even, this is the wrong one. Stupid. Astrotheology. Damn, dude, what the hell? It is sun. It is that. Oh, it is. It says Bible. Okay. Fallen angels. This looks like the prophecy. I've watched stuff like this, dude. Holy God, is this like super long? The Avengers? Trailer review. What does he say about this?
Chappie was more for the mainstream, action-packed film with this.
Because this is like a satanic film.
This idea of well, according to many researchers, the time.
Oh, he talks about
just the
that.
graphics, the whole.
Yeah, they released it on like a satanic holiday. Okay. This is full, so this might be all the parts. No, Ages Deceit 3 full. It's like redone a little bit. She added a little bit to it. What's up, Brayden? There isn't a part 1. Stage. Part 1. Full is part 1. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Holy crap, 20,000 comments? Did something I never thought I'd do in my life yesterday. Bought a Bible. Organized religion in my mind has been hijacked, which is what turned me away from it all those years ago. Agreed. But anyone looking around today who's not observing the emergence of evil in the world isn't paying attention. Thank you for helping my journey to open my eyes, my mind, my heart, way back to Jesus. Yeah, the Bible is actually like about the New World Order conspiracy. In my mind, Jesus was fighting... Well, yeah, Jesus stood against the state, the government, and the organized religion, the powers, the human authorities. He stood against the human authorities. And he showed us the way to fight power, not with power. You don't fight fire with fire. That's what they teach us. It's stupid. Jesus would turn the other cheek. So, or like, if they ask you to walk a mile, he walks 2 miles. So he goes to great lengths to show what an oppressive a-hole the king is. And in doing so, the people realize, like, you look like the good guy. If you fight back, the king will use propaganda and manipulate the situation and make it look like you're the asshole. But if you're always turning the cheek, you're always walking the extra mile and all this stuff, they can't, it's hard for them to demonize you. Although now they probably could with their... So, like, now maybe the Jesus technique wouldn't really work, so... I don't know, but I think it's an effective strategy to fight against tyranny and fight for freedom. And it's the story of his life, and he taught us the way. Watch a little bit of this.
The things that I'm going to tell you about today are horrendous, but the flip side of it is some of the things...
I know who that is. That is Fritz Springmeier.
Things that the New World Order and the Illuminati know, if they were put to good
He is a double agent.
use, would be fantastic. But if you saw what I've seen, it would make you angry.
Or wait, who is that guy?
These people are taking what could be used for the elevation of mankind, and they're using it to enslave us.
What's up, Fritz Springmeier? Yeah, it is. This guy.
Fritz.
Right, that's this guy.
Russell's time that a Mason had started in 1880.
That was him, right? Let's see if I can get him talking.
He was liking it too because they
yeah,
were...
it's the same guy. Yeah, that guy got, I don't know, he said he got framed. He went to jail. Did he work with David Icke, or were they enemies? One of it has his criminal conviction, of course. Visit robbery, armed robbery of a bank. He said that they set him up to discredit him. I don't know. Probably just a crook.
Evil men have already divided up the world into regions, and they've got it all planned. They want to rule the world. Their goal is to reduce the population to 500 million, with a few of them as the right, the elite.
Is that Kent Hovind?
Get to rule the world. God has plans.
He talks about the New World Order. I didn't know that.
It's for the world, and so does Satan. And Satan's plan is no people here, maybe just a few, and a one world government. The Bible says perilous times shall come. The people will be fierce, despisers of those that are good. Christians are going to be absolutely hated.
Christians have always been hated. I don't think, like notice, I don't know, look at the reaction I got when I came to YouTube to talk to Christians. It was just like hate, like they all hate me. So I think if you actually care about the truth and speak the truth and be yourself, you're going to be hated. And that says that in the Bible, the best verse in the Bible. So I have become your enemy by telling you the truth. And Plato. No one is more hated than he who speaks the truth. And Orwell. The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. Who is hated more than me? I challenge you to find someone on the internet hated more than me. Well, I suppose like famous people, but it's like the Christians hate me, the atheists hate me, the flat earthers hate me, the globe earthers hate me, freaking everywhere I go. And what do? I don't even do anything that bad. I don't eBay, I don't freaking scam, I don't lie. I'm pretty honest. I guess I do my insult comedy. Maybe it's that. I don't know. I think it's that the honesty, they can't handle it. Like, I think everyone's living in this fake fantasy bubble, and then I disrupt them, and it's like, oh, I'm uncomfortable now. I don't like that truth. You should go away. Ban.
Task will be to develop an overall strategy.
Yeah, but Raiden, I didn't do that originally, Raiden. I got hated before I said the N-word. The N-word is the reaction to people who have already excommunicated me. Now I'm saying the N-word. I was in the flat earth community for years without saying. No one even knew that I would personally, I don't have an issue with saying the N-word, but I never said it because I understood people are weak and they can't handle someone being that honest around them. So I didn't say it out of courtesy of the weak people that surrounded me, the weak, stupid filth. And they still hated me. They made up lies about me. They framed me, called me a porn bomber, bared false witness, slandered me, called me a pedophile. They manipulated friendships. They play these social hierarchy games. They would like to manipulate people. My Valley. Yeah, I watched Clueless, right? And I talk like Alicia Silverstone in Clueless. So they think I'm clueless, but I'm not clueless. I'm clueful. Anyways, I've been streaming like an hour. So I might I've probably seen this documentary, but I'll probably watch it. I'll tell you what I think about it. I'm gonna call the government on how Nathan treats what's her name? Emma. I think his daughter's name is Emma. Henry Kissinger is a demon. Demon. Okay, well, I guess good night. Good night, everybody. I'd like to get atheists in here and argue with me or something, or people that think conspiracy theories aren't true. I'd like to debate them, but I don't know. I have a hard time getting people in here. So I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out. But anyways, good night.